that's one issue I would like to discuss during this convention as well. That's something that's a topic that they have been talking about it. The different organizations. One says that they will, I think they will ban boxing to participate for 2 years. I think Paco doesn't have to make any statement about it. And I think the IPF, and if I'm right, it's taking them 1 year. I think we'll ban the boxing for 1 year, whatever it is. I think it's a little bit difficult to do.
World Boxing Association President Gilberto Mendoza has now seized Gervonta Davis's boxing license following the 9th round incident during his fight against Lamont Roach earlier this month. This comes after the organization received heavy backlashes for their double standards. Steve Willis, the judges and the team handling the technical review all came to rob Lamont Roach of his 26th victory.
Cards. Judge at the ringside, Eric Marlinsky scores it on 115 to 113 in favor of Gervonta Davis. Judges Steve Weisfeld and Glenn Feldman both scores about 114 to 114, even a draw. The decision is a majority draw.
So,
right.
But you say you don't think he willing though.
Whatever. See, but who cares? Like, sweat gonna get in your eye, blood gonna get in your eye.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Spit fuck around and get in your eye. You know what I'm saying? But you, it's not like you can be like, all right, time out, ref. Hold on,
Take no
ref.
time out.
You can't do that.
Right. Would you be cool with Steve Willis doing the next fight?
Hell no.
He can't do the next fight.
No, he can't do the next fight.
And while the organization was given a chance to redeem their public image as one that practices no form of favoritism whatsoever, they disappointed the entire boxing community. The preference was there for Gervonta Davis, who was the A side during the fight. As a result, despite the human and technical errors that characterized the fight, WBA refused to overturn the result in favor of Lamont Roach after meeting to review the situation. What followed this was some heavy criticism from the boxing community as fight fans and boxing professionals aired their uncensored opinion on what they thought about the World Boxing Association. The WBA president, deciding not to interfere with the outcome of the fight, has now seized Gervonta Davis's license and suspended any thoughts of an immediate rematch until after 1 year, when he has served the full punishment for his ignorance.
Because there's no studies about it. There's nothing that we could say which the pros or the amateurs, which one is dangerous or which one is not. You know, I look forward to having whatever medical guidelines we need to follow and to develop in order to protect boxers. That's one thing. I'm really concerned on this matter and not jump ahead, because I do believe that the International Olympic Committee allows professionals to participate in different other sports. It's not going to.
But this wasn't what the organization concluded initially. Well, after Davis was embarrassed by World Boxing Association super featherweight champion Lamont Roach Jr. on the first night of March, a fight that saw Davis's perfect record get tarnished by a majority draw, fans erupted with anger due to the incident that took place in the 9th round of the fight. Davis had taken a knee out of nowhere, and Willis declared it a no knockdown, even though he himself had started a standing 10 count. It was later revealed that grease from Davis's hair had made its way into his eyes, making it difficult for him to see. Regardless, this directly affected the scoring, which prevented Roach Jr. from getting his hand raised in victory. In the week that followed, the New York State Athletic Commission intervened, revealing that a technical issue had prevented officials from reviewing replays of the incident.
Hey, come on now. We're trying to get it. There you go. That's what you do. There you go. Stay good.
However, they began reviewing the incident after a formal letter from Roach's team, which should have ideally resulted in the draw being overturned into Roach's victory by decision. Meanwhile, in a now deleted report on the WBA website, an article tried to defend Willis's decision, suggesting that, from our perspective, Willis's decision was not unreasonable or unjustifiable. It also explained, he ruled in real time that Davis had not been struck by a punch before going down, and therefore, no knockdown should be recorded.
What you was thinking when Tank did that when he took the knee? What you was thinking when he took the knee?
I can't speak on it.
Can't speak on that?
Yeah.
He did some bullshit though?
I can't speak on it.
No personal opinion, nothing?
Judges, by regulation, must follow the referee's rulings. They do not have the authority to override his decisions on knockdowns. Some skeptics have suggested that Willis's call benefited Davis unfairly, but we do not subscribe to that notion, it added. Since this report came to light, the World Boxing Association received a ton of backlash, which may have been the reason why it was since removed from their website. However, after the justification provided in the article became a point of contention, the World Boxing Association president, Gilberto Mendoza Jr., issued an official statement on the now deleted report.
And it would be a lot of energy, a lot of things to do. I'd rather try to find a plan to do it. That's one thing we noticed. Regarding the rest, I hope you could enjoy China, enjoy the force of WBA China doing this convention.
Please stop misleading an opinion from a collaborator of the WBA boxing website, Mendoza wrote. He doesn't belong to any committee, has any influence or opinion in any matter of our association. Meanwhile, Roach also expressed his frustration in a tweet, writing, "Y'all tweaking if y'all think Buddy was off for some stuff or had an off night. That stuff is just different there with me. I told y'all from the start, just because I and everybody else too feel like I won, y'all acting like I said he was easy work or some stuff. The knockdown gives me a UD," he added.
Oh, and that right, but Davis took off some of the steam of the punch, but still, Roach leaned with that.
He took a knee.
He took a knee.
You take a knee like that, that looks like a knockdown. All right? Back up. Back up.
That's a generous call from him.
Did he not take a knee?
Take the mouthpiece to come out. And that's what I thought.
Oh, here comes Davis.
Afterwards, the World Boxing Association president, Gilberto Mendoza, began pushing for an immediate rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. after their controversial majority draw. Mendoza believed the controversy warranted a rematch. "I think there's not going to be any doubt about having a rematch on this," he told The Ring. "We need to send a strong message out there. If the World Boxing Association formally orders the fight, Davis and Roach would have 120 days to run it back." Roach, who was a major underdog, now awaits his chance at redemption. Meanwhile, Davis, after seeing the backlash online because of the knee, insists he welcomes a rematch. However, the fate of a rematch remains unclear, as of now that Gervonta Davis's license has been ceased.
Talk about it.
Oh, whoa. Of course, another comparison I don't want to make to Mike Tyson, but...
Nah, that's crazy. That's what he do. He get dirty. He know that.
Having said that, it appears the report was published on the World Boxing Association website by mistake, or could be a highly opinionated view of the fight, which the World Boxing Association doesn't endorse. Still, it would be interesting to see what the New York State Athletic Commission's ruling would be on the matter following the report. Would Davis get handed his first career loss, or will the so-called face of boxing go unscathed because of the sort of power and influence he has? Well, that power and influence is a big issue here, seeing how much the fight made and seeing how much of a profit it would generate for the parties involved. According to sources with knowledge, Dan Rafael states that Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach generated at least 260K buys. The report from Rafael reveals that one source has the figure at 262K.
Very much in this fight in the championship rounds.
Nice right uppercut, left hook. Ooh. Oh, another right hand, another right left by Roach. Davis fighting on even terms here in the 11th. Both of them have landed same amount of punches.
And Roach still talking to Tank.
And Davis eats the body shot. And another left hook upstairs, right hand, left. Oh, but there's a counter left from Davis.
The decision is a majority draw.
I let the
Examining the figures in more detail, with the event at $79.95, that means the event grossed $21 million in pay-per-view revenue across all platforms in the United States. These figures include Prime Video and PPV.com, as well as traditional linear television pay-per-view where the fight was available. The attendance inside the Barclays Center was 19,250, which was the record attendance for the venue in its 13-year history. This attendance helped ensure Davis Roach generated the building's second largest gate of nearly $7 million, a figure only topped by a Rolling Stones concert. The PPV total for Davis Roach makes it the fourth best performance of the 8 PPV events Tank has headlined. The boxing world seems to have come to a screeching halt, with Gervonta Davis at the center of it. All eyes are on the World Boxing Association lightweight champion at the moment, and everyone around him is being looked at with a certain level of scrutiny. In a situation like this, the parties involved must plan their every step with utmost care. And guess what? The WBA made a small error in this regard, and they are now busy clearing the storm it has caused. Well, regardless of the decision, Lamont Roach still wants his win.
You know, obviously the part with the grease in the eye, that took on a life of its own. You know what I'm saying? That was a headline in the fight. One is, what did you think when he said that initially, just like the grease in the eye? But two is like, when you was in the fight, was there any point that you saw that? Like, did you see like him kind of messing with his eye, or did you have any indication that that was something that was bothering him?
No, see, and that's the thing. If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him.
Even though it occurred nearly 3 weeks ago, the boxing world is still buzzing about the WBA lightweight title fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach. In addition to the fight being controversial due to Davis taking a knee in the 9th round and then having his face wiped off in the corner, neither of which was penalized by referee Steve Willis, the back and forth war of words between Roach and Davis since the fight ended has brought added entertainment value. Since the fight ended, Roach has made several appearances on big-time podcasts to discuss the fight and keep his narrative that he should have been victorious, rather than the fight being ruled a majority draw, circulating, which has kept the conversation around their likely rematch alive. Roach has also been active on social media, and on March 18th, he sent out one post that seems to have irked Tank's fan base, which is likely exactly what Roach was trying to do.
A hand that, like, you know what I'm saying, that kind of landed. He kind of rolled with it, but after that, you could see him wipe his eye. And then, right after I hit him with the jab, you could see him wipe his other eye. So it's like, it was corresponding to which hand that I punched him with and exactly which eye. So it's like crazy for him to say, it's grease in my eye. And I think even when he say that, you could see me, because I'm right beside him, you could see me like...
On some real stuff, why are some of you mad because a lot of people think I won the fight? I'm confused, gang. What's going on? Did I do something to you guys? He wrote on X in a post that has over 215K views and 425 comments in less than 2 days. This seems like a classic case of a fighter trying to bait an opponent's fan base to drum up interest in a fight. And considering the post's engagement and the fact that the post's comment section is full of Davis fans, the post has done its job. Top boxing coach Teddy Atlas has also supported Roach in his rants and gave an in-depth analysis of the fight and touched on what really went wrong in the 9th round. I always say, sometimes the safest place, believe it or not, is in the eye of the storm. Roach understood that. You need the nerve, confidence, and mental togetherness to do it. He had all that, not just the size, reach, and ability. He had the nerve to go in there, which many can't, and not just survive, prosper, make hay, actually win in spots. Then what did he do? He started walking Tank down late in the fight.
But like, he wiped his face with a towel. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't do none of that. Right. That's a disqualification. You turned your back on the ref after you took a knee.
The legendary coach agreed with the rest of the boxing world, claiming Lamont Roach was robbed off his victory. I thought it was a close fight, not a huge robbery. There were lots of close rounds. I think Roach deserved to get his hand raised, but I'd have to watch it again. Tank had an edge in middle and early rounds, nice shots, body work, doing what he usually does. Roach came on in the later rounds and maybe took the title, or at least earned the draw. It was close. Around the 5th round, as you alluded to last night, Tank started tapping him, touching gloves, saying, "Hey bud, good round." We've never seen that before. He's got disdain, attitude, arrogance. He's the boogeyman, knocking guys out, giving no reprieve, no hope. He makes them feel he's the bad guy. Bad things will happen because he's bad. Suddenly, he taps Roach. That's a message. I noticed it right away. No other commentators mentioned it, but I said it on our live stream watch-along. Don't think Roach didn't notice.
He got away with it. But the sport let him get away with it. There's nothing wrong with the fighters. It's the administrators of this sport that there's a lot wrong with. And there is. And you see it. And we shouldn't keep seeing it. It's got to be stopped. A referee, that is not in the rule book. You get hit with a jab. I know there was a second or two in between. Sometimes you see a delay, knockdown, whatever. The punch didn't hurt him. I understand that. But he got hit a jab, and then a second, 2 seconds later, he takes a knee. Guess what? I'm sorry. that constitutes a knockdown.
Teddy Atlas continued, "If I'm in Roach's corner and they did a great job, I'm pointing that out as soon as he gets back. I'd say, you're getting to this guy. He doesn't do that. He's making a concession, admitting you're getting to him. This is different tonight. You're making him feel vulnerable." I don't know if his corner said it, but maybe Roach felt it himself. You could see his confidence grow round by round. He looked like a different, bigger guy as the fight progressed. You're right. I used to buy those little sponges for my grandkids, little figurines you put in the bathtub and they blow up. That's what Roach was doing, getting bigger right before our eyes. To your point, Tank touching him, of course Roach saw it, felt it, knew what it meant. It meant Tank was giving in a certain way. I'm not overdoing it, but in a fight like that, against a monster, an unbeatable, dangerous force, all you need is a little something.
Down after a punch somewhere around there, that's a knockdown. There is, again, we're not in football. There are no fair catches here. You know what I mean? And if it was, to your point last night when I said it, it would be a touchback. You know what I mean? It would, if you took a knee in a certain situation, it would be a touchback. You know, I mean, there were rules for a reason. Unless even Crawford came out.
The legendary coach had so much praises for Lamont Roach and professed. Suddenly he showed a crack and Roach saw it, felt it, witnessed it, was part of it. He thought, I'm on the right path. I needed that assurance, that verification I'm getting to him. Tonight's different. What'd he do? He started backing Tank up, doing what I'd have been worried about, to be transparent. But with a tight defense, behind that jab, straight short punches, he started bossing him around, becoming the boss of the fight. We all know the longtime feud between Teddy Atlas and Mike Tyson. Well, he did allude to Tyson as well, claiming Gervonta Davis had many similarities with him. It happened with Mike Tyson, if we're getting down to the truth, when you depend on intimidation. I'm not saying Tank did to that degree, but Tyson did. And that's part of the mix, and the guy doesn't get intimidated, you become the intimidated, he becomes the intimidator. A little bit of that happened here. Bottom line, Roach fought a hell of a fight. He deserves tremendous credit. He went into the Lion's Den and came out unscathed, backing Tank up. It's a win for him. He didn't get Tank's belt, but he won last night. We can't wait for that rematch. His stock goes up.
Crawford, pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world, in the top three, between him, Inoue, and Usyk, right? I got Usyk first. I got him and Inoue right there. I think Usyk deserves to be first after what he's done, putting together the heavyweight title, the whole thing, the whole shebang. But Crawford came out and said, I didn't know that was a rule. I guess I was sleeping when they passed that one. I guess I was taking a nap, or maybe I was out doing road work. He didn't say that, by the way. I'm just adding that to it. But I must have been busy doing something when that rule. That is not a rule. I said it earlier. This is not the Indianapolis 500. You can't go into pit row. That you need your oil change.
This issue with Roach has also affected Tank and another fighter. Jake Paul's potential showdown with Gervonta Davis has fallen through following the 30-year-old's contentious draw with Lamont Roach. Plans were in the works for Davis and Paul to square off in an exhibition match after Paul's victory over Mike Tyson last November. However, reports suggest that profitable discussions were halted by Davis's team after the WBA lightweight champion's license was seized. If Davis had triumphed over Roach, it's probable that the bout with Paul would have been slated for the summer. In the end, the match was declared a majority draw with scorecards of 115, 113 in Davis's favor, and 114, 114, 114, 114 even.
We placed there two quality fighters, short punches, putting them together on the inside. That's science. I know a lot of people say, no, Teddy, that's fire. That's offense. That's aggression. No, that's the sweet science. You can do the sweet science and be aggressive. You don't have to do it on the outside only. You don't have to do it only, with separation. You don't have to do it only.
Ringside at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, Paul watched events unfold, but his future fight plans are now in tatters with Davis vs. Roach rematch dates marked for either June 21st at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas or June 28th, with Atlanta or Miami being potential host cities. Davis had previously thrown down the gauntlet to the problem child. Tell him this is my call out. Jake Paul, what up? What up, Jake Paul? He said. In turn, through social media, Paul shot back, "Floyd's little son calling me out? Come on, little tank, you know better." A professional sanction for a showdown between them would be implausible, owing to their stark contrast in weight classes, with Davis hovering around the lightweight class at 135 pounds and even dipping into super featherweight at 130 pounds.
Is Jake Paul someone you'd want to take on at one point?
Yeah, tell him this is my call out. Jake Paul, what up? What up, Jake Paul?
12 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. Judges at ringside, Max DeLuca and Manuel Hussein both scored about 119 to 109. Judge Tom Schreck scores at 120 to 108. All three in favor of the winner by unanimous decision.
This contrasts sharply with Paul's cruiserweight stature, evident in his recent 227 pounds weigh-in for a Tyson fight. The concept for Jake's crossover bout with Davis was inspired by his brother Logan's exhibition match with Floyd Mayweather in 2021. Logan tipped the scales at 189.5 pounds, while Mayweather was a full 34.5 pounds lighter at 155 pounds. It's speculated that a similar arrangement would have been made for Davis's fight against Paul. What are your thoughts on Tank's seized license? Do you think the WBA will cancel the decision and pick the rematch in its place? And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out, and that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.